Spinoza's challenge to Mosaic authorship. Moses in third person. Baruch Spinoza argued in Tractatus Theologico-Politicus that Moses could not have been the author of the Pentateuch, since Moses is referred to in the third person with he as opposed to the first person I. Spinoza refers to Numbers 12 verse 3 and says in Tractatus Theologico-Politicus chapter 8. The writer of these books not only speaks of Moses in the third person, but also bears witness to many details concerning him. For instance, Moses was the meekest of men. The manner of speaking, the giving of testimony lead us to the plain conclusion that these books were written not by Moses, but by another. Did ancient historians use third-person speech to refer to themselves? Let's have a look at some examples. Hecataeus of Miletus begins his work by identifying himself in the third person. Herodotus also conveys his representation of history in the third person. Thucydides begins his work, The Peloponnesian War, with the third-person self-reference. Xenophon, a student of Socrates, records in the Anabasis his march with the 10,000 as they travel into and back from Persia in an effort to aid Cyrus. Even persons like Caesar or Josephus used third person to refer to themselves. Julius Caesar refers to himself in the third person throughout his work Gallic War. Josephus in War of the Jews presented himself as a participant in the historical events conveyed by referring to himself in the third person. Obviously, using third person was the normal approach in historical writings. These ancient historians utilized the third person style to provide objective and authoritative accounts of historical events. By employing this narrative approach, they aimed to present their subject matter in a manner that appeared detached from personal biases and interpretations, focusing on factual information and analysis. Even other Bible writers used third-person speech for themselves. Jeremiah wrote his book in the third-person narrative. Daniel wrote his book in the third-person speech. And also Joshua wrote his book in the third-person narrative. In summary, what can be said about Spinoza's challenge to Mosaic authorship? Following the conventions of ancient historians, Moses chose to describe himself in the third-person style. Moses writing about himself third-person narrative does not negate his authorship. See also the video.